Okay, so one of my favorite things.
KVNU Aggie Game Day, getting you ready for tonight's Utah State basketball game.
Step back, got it!
With longtime voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, and one of USU's best ever, Jalen Moore, breaking down the game. Plus, feature interviews with players and coaches, and all the information on the college basketball scene. KVNU Aggie Game Day is brought to you by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, LSS Insurance, Young Truck and Trailer, DD Auto and Salvage, My Mattress, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Elements Restaurant, White Pine Funeral Home, Les Olson Company, Prodigy Brewing, Cache Valley Bank, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Darrell's Appliance, HSA Depot, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Alpine Home Medical, S.E. Needham Jewelers, Thermo Fisher, Primrose Home Care, and Golden Spike Electric. It's the KVNU Aggie Game Day pregame show.
You know, one of the great sports things that you hear in the great sporting event of horse racing, down the stretch they come. Well, it's not exactly like the end of the horse race yet, but when you get to February and then you head towards March in college basketball, it gets so critical to win games. You need to eventually get to where you want to be and need to be in postseason play. So now here comes the second half of the Mountain West schedule for our Aggies, and it kind of is like a key stretch run for them to still, again, as we say, stay among, they're in the top 5 record-wise in the league, but really tied for third into this week. But they need a signature win against one of these so-called contenders, and you got a for sure contender tonight, playing them New Mexico in the Spectrum. You beat them, and you stay in contact with all of the conference's top teams. Now, later on in our game day, we've got an interview with graduate, again, forward Taylor Funk. But Taylor says...
So, yeah, we had the top teams in the league so far. We played all on the road, so we get the opportunity to bring one of those teams into the Spectrum. And, you know, you can't change the past. It's guns blazing now. Take every opportunity we have, and you know we say it every day before the game. You know, don't waste this opportunity.
The Aggies cannot do that. Keeping the home court Mountain West record clean is essential right now, with all of these great teams coming in over the next 5 weeks. And for us to head to Las Vegas with some real shot at feeling like you can win the title and maybe even still be in the NCAA at-large consideration, you got to feel right now that the Aggies need at least a couple, if not maybe 3, of these games against the best in the league to have a chance to be in there. Again, they go up tonight on this Wednesday night FS1 game in the Spectrum. This is going to show what they can really, if they can do that at all, because New Mexico was the last team undefeated in college basketball. They've been ranked. They're so explosive. They have really the conference's most dynamic offensive stars, scorers number 1 and 2 as the coach sets it up.
Big game for both teams. You know, they're all big, of course, in conference play, but playing a really talented and well-coached team. It's, you know, gotten off to an amazing start. You know, this season, 19-3, 6-3 in the conference. Led by their guards, Mashburn and House are having an incredible season.
Those guys are great. We'll talk more about it. So tonight here in Logan, Richard Pitino brings the Lobos in. They're after their magical 20th victory of the season. But USU has had their conference number lately, and we hope that continues. And we think this should be one of the best basketball games in the Spectrum this year, and certainly we hope it is. Aggie KVNU Game Day is brought to you in part by Prodigy Brewing for lunch and for dinner on Center Street in downtown Logan, the only brew pub down there, but of course also great pizza and burgers and everything for the whole family, and Alpine Home Medical. They're in Logan, again, with CPAP supplies, stockings, lift chairs, oxygen supplies. Look no further than Alpine Home Medical for all of your medical needs. I'm Al Lewis, along with Jalen Moore, and my friend, all you have to do is you look at this February and then the one game in March, Jalen, and the remaining home games for our team can really get you excited for all of these games, again, if we can get off to the right start tonight to make this month kind of special.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The game tonight is such a big game. Just like we said, we got all the good teams, all the upper-tier teams in the Mountain West that we still get to play at home. And if you can start off that little streak against this team, New Mexico, like you said, that was ranked, they have a lot of players that are threats. They have good bigs. They have good wings. If we can go out there and get this win, I think it'll be a huge confidence boost, showing that our team and to the fans and everybody that we can compete with the upper tier teams in the Mountain West, but also just a confidence boost for the players too. And like we said, if we're still potentially don't win the tournament in Vegas, if you got to beat teams like New Mexico, San Diego State, Boise, Nevada, if our team wants a potential at-large bid to still get in the NCAA tournament as well.
Of course, it'll all happen if we can compete with the athletes and physicality of these best in our conference. Now, last night, Nevada closed very strong. They shot 65% the second half. They made 8 for 8 late free throws. Jared Lucas had 26. Will Baker had 19. And boy, I'll tell you, still Keon Blackshear is still a heck of a player for Nevada. They beat number 22 San Diego State 75-66 last night. So the Aztecs are now even with Boise State at 8-2. The Broncos, it wasn't easy, but they got a 59-52 win at Air Force Academy. Max Rice had 22. Also, Wyoming 85, Fresno State 62, and UNLV 83 and Colorado State 71. That means the Rams will be 2-8 when we play them on Saturday night. What do you think Friday night, Jalen? Boise State at San Diego State. That will be very interesting.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. It's the whole conference is interesting, right? And it seems like every time a team gets ranked, they end up losing that next game. You know, San Diego State just got back in the rankings. They ended up losing. But like we said, as long as Utah State, if we can slide up there with these teams and split with them, it'll be big because Boise State, if they go in there and beat San Diego State, you kind of look at San Diego State and they've only been beat by the upper tier teams. And, you know, we need to go in there and we got to beat some of these upper tier teams to stay put or move up in the rankings. And like I said, at the end of the day, I think the end goal would be to be in the NCAA tournament or have a good seed in the NIT. And in order for us to do that, we have to win some of these games. So we hope that Boise State and San Diego State put on a show. And like we said, obviously there's going to be a winner and a loser. And at the end of the day, these teams come into the spectrum. We need to beat some of these teams to mark our territory for sure.
All right, to go into tonight, again, Fresno State may not be one of the best teams in the league. In fact, after last night, you may say they might be near the bottom of the league. But to end, we had that 3-game losing streak on the road into Saturday. And remember, the Bulldogs did beat New Mexico when they played them earlier this year. But I would have to say, Jalen, the Aggies' performance against Fresno State from start to finish may have been one of the best conference games the Aggies have played all year long to go into tonight's game with the one from Saturday.
Yeah, we looked really good, and we needed to do something like that. Like you said, we had a losing streak on the road. We needed to go in there, and Fresno State had beaten some good teams at home, and we pretty much just put our foot on the gas from the get-go, and we didn't let them hang with us and showcase what we were capable of. Our defense looked good. We knew how good Fresno was defensively, but our offense looked really good. We shot the ball well. We finished at the rim. We rebounded well. We shot free throws. We did everything we needed to do to win that game. And honestly, we did a lot of things that game that'll win a lot of games in this conference. So as long as we keep up that play, we come out tonight and play similar, we're always going to be able to give ourselves a chance of winning and beating any team in this conference.
You can tell when Coach Odom talked after the game, it was a little bit of a relief for he and the team.
Yeah, no question. And we weren't expected to win at San Diego State outside of our locker room. There's nobody that expected us to win. And we had a chance. You know, we're down 6 or whatever, like we've discussed. You know, our guys were disappointed about that and that we weren't able to get it even tighter. And so coming in here, you know, this was an important game, and every road game is really tough. And we've seen the home games have been tough, you know, around the league. And for us to come in here and get a W, you know, it's very, very satisfying. But we know there's one right around the corner. We have a great team coming to the Spectrum on Wednesday night, and we're going to have to play, you know, even better, you know, to have a chance to win.
I was a coach Saturday, and Dan Atkin, of course, was the big star in the Fresno game, even though he seemed to kind of credit everybody else when asked after the game how important the win was.
Yeah, like you said, obviously road games are big. Obviously winning on the road is like a true test of like how good the team is, and obviously after what happened in San Diego, we knew we had the answer.
So, he was just kind of not taking it all into himself. But really, Jalen, it's pretty fair to say this is the 6th man of the year in the Mountain West Conference. I mean, is anybody else off the bench doing what Dan's doing? You know, from start to finish in the start of the year, he may be our most consistent basketball player on the team every game.
Yeah, for sure. And, I mean, obviously with Rylan being hurt and Steven going into that starting lineup, I don't see how Dan doesn't get that 6th man of the year. He's been playing at a high level, and he's been doing it at a national level. Like the things and the double-doubles he gets from the bench haven't only been noticed in the Mountain West, but at a national level. You know, he's definitely at the top. So, and it's crazy because he gives us that production almost every night out. He gives you energy, he gives you effort. And for being a little bit undersized, his athletic ability comes into play defensively, and he holds his own against some of these bigger guys. And he really is a key piece for us being successful. and he will be against these teams. Like we always talk about these upper-tier teams. He will be a big piece because of his athletic ability and the things that he can do against these teams that have some superior athletes. You got to put Dan out there because he can make things happen offensively and defensively.
Coach had some interesting things to say about Dan post-game. Again, of course, he's the graduate transfer here to Utah State that the coach had before at UMBC.
Dan was fabulous today, and he's been that way. Recently he's been playing great for us, and we certainly need him to do that. He's a tough, guard out there in terms of his athleticism. He runs the court, he sprints the court, he rebounds the ball. He can score with his back to the basket.
He can shoot threes.
Yeah, he can shoot threes. He's 1 for 1. He's never allowed to shoot again because he's 1 for 1 in his career. So, but he'll probably prove me wrong on that one. But I was happy to see that go in. That's really cool.
He's actually 1 for 2 in his career, but 1 for 1 coaching with Odom. He shot 1 last year when he was at Cal Baptist. So, again, that's Dan Akin. But, okay, let's get towards tonight. The reality is Saturday's win was good. But New Mexico is athletic as Fresno State, Jalen, but way, way more athletic than Fresno State. And more offensive, too, I think I should say. Better offensive team than Fresno State.
Yeah, for sure. And, you're going to see a team that's a little bit similar defensively, but offensively way more gifted, way more talented players. They have multiple guys that can actually hurt you. Some of these teams we run into have one guy that we really got to key on. And this is going to be a team effort. You got Jalen House, who's really skilled, Mashburn Jr. They have solid bigs. They have guys from the bench. That's what makes them such a good team. And like we said, we're going to have to do a job. Definitely, if we think we've seen a game where guys try to ISO us and break us down offensively, and while we're on defense, this is going to be a game where we got to play team defense, but individually, it's really going to check some guys, and we're going to have to stay in front of these players. Mashburn, obviously he can score at all 3 levels. He likes to get to the rim, but his pull-up game, his mid-range game is really good, and he can shoot threes. And, House, obviously, he's going to be a facilitator, but he has looked to score a lot more this year, and you have seen how his offense has improved over the year. So I think this is going to be very important for us. We got to be on it defensively, and we definitely have to be able to hang with their athletes. And like we said, individual defense this game is going to be super important.
Morris Udezi is their transfer from Wichita State, has really helped their inside game. And then even Alec, the other transfer, has joined with them on the front line that has helped them as well. And you just talked about it. We're going to hear from Coach Patino in the next segment. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But Coach Patino was asked by somebody, is this guy the best mid-range basketball player in college basketball? And here's what Coach Richard Patino said.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, assistant or head coach. I've not seen a guy that good at it.
He's never seen a guy play like that. So we're going to talk about that in the next segment, Jalen. But the one thing that's interesting about them is most college teams these days are inside-oriented, but then they throw it out for three-point shots. New Mexico shoots 27% of their field goal attempts from 3. That's the 10th fewest in America. Aggies' average, incidentally, is about 42%, and the national average is 37.5%. These 2 guards for them, House and Mashburn, they can shoot threes, but boy, do they like to take the ball at the basket, at you, to facilitate others or to make plays for themselves. And like you're really already on it, I think, tonight, that, again, you have to control House with the ball, and then with Mashburn, somehow at least get a hand in his face when he's taking shots.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard. It's really hard to guard guys that can score at all 3 levels and that do have a really good mid-range game. You have to just respect an all-around game. And like you said, I think House has improved a ton offensively, even from the three-point line. But like you said, when they don't shoot a ton of threes, they're going to have some bruisers inside. They're going to crash the offensive rebounds, and they're definitely going to try to ISO us and break us down defensively and try to get to the rim. And another thing, too, is they really do live at the free throw line. They shoot a lot of free throws. So that's going to be another thing we have to keep watch for, and we got to keep guys in front of us, and we can't get in foul trouble early for sure.
So Jalen and I will continue to break down this Utah State-New Mexico's game coming up in the Spectrum at about 8:40 when it starts. They're figuring with the Fox Sports Network coverage, FS1 coverage. Hope you're headed up there, though, as well. We're going to feature Coach Odom tonight. We'll hear a little bit more from Coach Patino down in New Mexico. But, Taylor Funk has come to town. He and his parents have now found out, again, how great it is in our valley. Listen up to this.
It's such a blessing to be around people, and I feel like every new person you meet is the new nicest person you ever met. It's just to meet new people, because everyone is very nice out here, and I feel like it makes you a nicer person.
That's all for all you Aggie great fans, and we will hear the entire interview later on KVNU Game Day. We're brought to you tonight by DD Auto and Salvage. And remember to get rid of your junk vehicles anytime. Call them at 787-1204. They'll pay you the most for those junk vehicles. And Daryl's Appliance. Remember, not only the great appliances to buy, but the great service to go along with all your appliances you have. Call 752-9022 tomorrow if you need service. And Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat. From runny nose and itchy eyes to seasonal allergies to careful control of serious food and drug allergies, Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat. Again, they're in Providence and in North Logan, and they bring you Game Day. We'll be right back. Aggies and New Mexico tonight in the Spectrum, a little after 8:30.
We're heading into some crazy weather this winter, which means power outages. Tyler and his team at Golden Spike Electric can install a Generac automatic standby generator for your home so you can avoid issues when the power goes out. If you have one already, Golden Spike Electric can maintain your Generac automatic standby generator for you. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac automatic standby generators. Power you can count on.
Are you ready for Valentine's kisses and wishes? It's time to make your Valentine's Day reservation for the Sweethearts Buffet at the Riverwoods Conference Center on Friday, February 10th. Experience a romantic ambiance with piano music and a kissing booth backdrop for selfies. A delicious selection of entrees that include herb-roasted New York loin and pesto roasted turkey. And it wouldn't be Valentine's without a decadent dessert bar filled with all your favorite dreamy sweets. Now as for the kisses, better make your reservation today. Riverwoods Conference Center. Call 750-5151.
Attention all bargain hunters. Are you in the market for a new appliance but don't want to break the bank? This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. We just received 2 huge truckloads of scratch and dent appliances that are as good as new, but with a few cosmetic imperfections. You'll get Daryl's exclusive 2-year extended warranty and the famous Daryl's difference on service and warranty. You don't have to sacrifice quality for a great deal. Why pay full price when you can get a dentalicious deal at Daryl's Appliance, west on Airport Road?
You know you recognize that song. I'm talking to you, class of 1976. Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance, and turning 65 means it's time to talk Medicare. LSS is here to help. Call 752-9493 for help with Medicare. As your local agent, we will research benefits, costs, and look up prescriptions so there aren't any surprises at the pharmacy. Call LSS at 752-9493.
It's engagement season. Time to find the perfect ring. S.E. Needham Jewelers is known for beautifully cut diamonds at excellent prices. Guys, the sparkle is what matters most in the diamond you give your sweetheart. Our diamonds stand apart from those of other stores. Come view our diamonds under magnification. Select a diamond that fits your budget and then have it mounted in a ring that she'll love. Remember, you get S.E. Needham quality at internet pricing. Open Monday through Saturday 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
Aggie Game Day continues. Sponsored by Prodigy Brewing on News Talk KVNU.
The guard play in our league, night in and night out, you're going to face really good players.
I mean, tonight the Aggies are facing the 2 top scorers in the league in Mashburn and House. But then you think about Isaiah Stevens later this week, Matt Bradley and Trammell and Butler, and then you think of the combinations of, you've got Harkless and Gilbert and Webster at Vegas. You've got Shaver and Rice. You got Maldonado. You got Ashworth. You got Shulga. Jones when he's healthy for the Aggies. Tell you what, that Blackshear and Lucas combination is pretty good at Nevada as well. We're going to talk more about that in just a moment with Jalen Moore, Al Lewis here. This is the only time the Aggies will play the Lobos unless they play them in the Vegas tournament coming up. And Saturday we also play Colorado State for just the only time. So it's kind of our week to play an opponent one time this week. And Jalen, USU, Boise State, Nevada with that win last night are the only teams still undefeated at home. And I've felt like talking to you over the years about your attitude about home games and road games. It shouldn't be that big a deal, home court advantage in college basketball. It still seems to be, even though I know that you feel like it shouldn't be in some ways, right?
Yeah, I feel like it shouldn't be, but it definitely is in some aspects. And I think the Spectrum is one of the places that does give you that advantage, just the way the fans get involved. I think everybody could probably say this too as a player. I think you always kind of shoot better at home as a team. So I think that all that just kind of plays into play. You're comfortable You know, you got to sleep in your own bed, all this kind of stuff before the game that could potentially be a factor to some people will play into that, you know, and then just shooting at a higher percentage, playing in front of your friends and family, playing in front of like the Spectrum, how it's been popping this year, I think is definitely a home court advantage for our guys. And for us to have one game against New Mexico that we play them at our place, I think this is super big. You know, it's a super big opportunity for our guys. And for us only playing them one time, like we say, you definitely got to capitalize on this game, and we get to play it at home. So you couldn't ask for anything better.
We talked about the schedule of all these good teams now coming here in the second half of the schedule. Coach knows that, but again, he also says
some great competition, you know, for our students and our fans, and you know, to watch and pull hard for the Aggies, and that's what it's all about. But the bottom line is it comes down to the two teams on the court, the players on the court, and the decisions that are made and how you play when that ball is tipped up. You know, just because we have this, or the Pitt has what they have, or San Diego State has what they have, doesn't guarantee you anything. You've got to play when that ball is tipped up, and players will decide, you know, who wins the game.
So again, the Aggies better be ready to go from the start against New Mexico. That's what Fresno did in New Mexico. They jumped right on them and beat them at Fresno, so it can happen. Now, I'm throwing this at you, Jalen, out of the Clear Blues, so I don't know if you're prepared, but halfway through the conference season, who's your player of the year in the Mountain West Conference so far?
I would probably have to go. I would probably have to go with Mashburn. I think so far with New Mexico. I think all around he has the best game that I've seen. You know, can score from the rim, can facilitate, can shoot pull-ups, three-pointers. He gets to the free throw line. He can defend. He's athletic. I think so far, you know, you take him away from their team, and they would really struggle. You know, I think he does so many great things for their team. And obviously you could say that about a lot of guys, but I think so far, almost halfway through, I think he's definitely the player of the year so far. I think if he keeps it the direction that he's playing, I think that he probably will get it most likely.
I was thinking the same way. The only other person I really considered in some ways was Tyson Degenhart at Boise, because he's very important for them in a lot of ways. But gosh, this Max Rice has been going off for them lately, helping him win. But Mashburn Jr. is the number one scorer in the Mountain West Conference. He averages 19.5, 43 consecutive games of double figures. That's the second longest streak in the NCAA. He went over 1,000 points in his New Mexico career against Air Force. And again, he features this art, Jalen, that I know you brought it up before. It's a dying art in basketball, the mid-range jumper, or the mid-range fall-away, or the mid-range stop and shoot. It just doesn't happen that much anymore.
No, it really doesn't. And it's sad because, honestly, I continuously teach my kids the mid-range and coach them the mid-range, because I know when I played that was such a deadly threat for me to be consistent every night. Like I said, being able to score at all three levels, I could shoot threes, I could finish at the rim, but my mid-range game was really good too. And it makes you so much harder to guard. And if you flip on an NBA game, you flip on a college game, and you watch the best players on the court, usually they have that mid-range game. And a lot of times, even if you take the guys like Kevin Durant, you know, Jason Tatum, Ja Morant, like guys that are big and popular now, they have such a high-level mid-range game that it makes them the best players, makes them the hardest players, the type of players to guard. And I think that's what makes Mashburn so special now, the high-level mid-range game that he has. I think it makes him such a hard guy to guard, because you do have to defend him on all areas of the court, and you know that he can hurt you from all three levels too.
Here's what Coach Patino said about that mid-range game in more detail.
I think we do a good job of running a variety of things that get him to that right hand and get him in a spot with a mid-range. You know, so I can't speak on other defenses. I mean, we go against it every day. You know, when you have an elite guy like that, you know, my whole thing is always make mash pass, don't back up. But, you know, hopefully whatever the defense does, we have a counter to it. But him going downhill to his right hand is really, really special. And when we're setting great screens, we feel really good about it. And he's shooting the three ball better, too. Obviously, he hit one today and has been getting to the free throw line.
So, again, you got to keep a hand in his face, not back off when you think he's maybe going to stop and do something like that. Now, Coach Odom seems to agree with that assessment of Coach Patino.
Yeah, I mean, Mashburn is the elite pull-up player in the country. You know, he's got the best pull-up game around, you know, and it's unique in our game nowadays. You know, you still see it some in the NBA with specific players, but college, you don't see it as often. You see guys getting all the way to the basket. You see guys shooting threes. You see guys getting to the free throw line and getting fouled. That's where the focus is. But with him, he's most comfortable taking one or two dribbles, right or left, doesn't matter, and pulling. And there's not much you can do about it.
And, the analytics right now, the people who really look at all the basketball stats have figured out that short jumpers are not what you need anymore. It's you get to the rim, you either get a layup or a dunk, you get fouled, or then you dish it back outside to somebody for three. And here again is Coach Pitino. This is, again, Rick Pitino's son, Richard Pitino, the coach in New Mexico.
We watch every shot, and we chart every shot, individually as well as collectively as a team. And if he's shooting a high percentage, I'm not going to be stubborn with it. So analytically, a lot of people say, especially the NBA, that the three-point shot, because you can get offensive rebounds. I'm not sure I agree with it. It just depends on the guy. With Mash, he has got the freedom to go do that.
So again, Jalen, it's just that nowadays analytics are taking over all of sports, and they're saying you get more out of the three-point shot and more things can happen better for you and everything like that too.
Yeah, for sure. Which is, like the coach said, it just depends on the player. I remember even back when in 17, when I was trying out for the Rockets and I shot a pull-up jumper and they stopped the whole workout and told me, we only do threes and finishes at the rim here. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's just crazy how much it's changing. You obviously watched the Rockets when they had James Harden and stuff. That's all they did is they only shot threes or went to the rim or, like you said, went to the free throw line. But I think it's just a lost art in the game. I think it makes a lot of people harder to guard. And you watch the best guys in the NBA, that's what they do. And I think that's why Mashburn's so successful, is because he scores at all three levels and makes you have to defend him at all three levels. And like I said, you're going to see it tonight. I think he's going to showcase scoring at all three levels tonight as well.
Best Aggie with the mid-range game is who, do you think?
Oh man, I don't know. That's
Sean Bairstow, maybe?
Tough question. Yeah.
He'll kind of pull up and shoot those drives and pull up and shoot the shot and everything. He might have the best mid-range game we've got.
Yeah, I think he definitely does, and like he does, he backs in smaller defenders, and with his height and his size, he's able to shoot over them, and you'll see that too. He ends up shooting a lot of mid-range jumpers as well.
Okay, so defending Mashburn and Jalen House, and then now we said inside is Morris Udeze. So on-ball defense, we've talked about that being our problem. Can we, if you've got Mashburn and House, you have to cover. They can shoot threes. Now, if they bring Jenkins in the game, they can shoot threes. Can it help us to maybe defensively have people in the way if we're not having to worry so much about them shooting only 27% of their shots from three in this game tonight?
Yeah, I definitely think it's beneficial. I think we can play the gaps a little bit more because we know that they're going to be looking to drive. That's where it gets interesting, because, the team doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but you gap them too much, they're obviously going to have some guys that can knock them in. So that's what makes it hard when you have a team that's aggressive getting to the rim. It really does open up those threes for them. So, they shoot threes and stuff. We still have to get a hand up. We still have to make it contested three. We can't let them have open looks. They're obviously D1 players that are going to knock shots down if they are too easy of a shot. So we have to be able to play the gaps, but also be able to close out correctly, not get beaten on closeouts, but also if they do attempt shots or three-pointers, we just got to do the best of our ability to contest those shots and obviously make sure that we're not fouling three-point shooters or Mashburn shooting a lot of these pull-ups. We got to make sure that we don't foul him on those pull-ups as well.
And Javonte Johnson, last year he scored 23 and made threes against us down at the pit. Now he didn't shoot as well in Logan. So they lead the Mountain West in scoring, 82.4. They're number 15 in the nation. They shoot 49%. That's in the top 20. Lots of free throws, like you mentioned. Number 6 in the country in makes, number 10 in attempts. Despite their 6-3 record, they have the best individual in points, in rebounds, and in steals in the conference. Best offensive rebounder in this, Josiah Alec. So they're off to their best start in 45 years. Second earliest they could get to 20 wins if they win tonight, but they're 2-16 in Logan. They've lost 5 straight here. The last time they won, they beat a team that you were on in 2015. Aggies have won 5 in a row in the series overall. Mashburn had 29-13 in the 2 games last year against the Aggies, but House only had 8-2. So definitely, he wants to do better, and he's great with defense. So here we go. Jalen Moore's keys to the game tonight, brought to you by Golden Spike Electric. Again, we had a power bump the other day. Power was out for a while. You want to make sure, business or home, you are covered. They have the Generac backup generators that they can put in for you and all of your electrical needs from Golden Spike Electric. Power you can count on. 257-3016. So what have you got tonight for the Aggies to win this game where they're a slight favorite at home against New Mexico?
Yeah, obviously we've been talking about it the whole time. Number one, we have to defend as a team. Like we say, usually sometimes we single out individual guys that we got to stop, but this is going to be a team effort. They have multiple players that can hurt us, and like you just said, they average 82 points per game. So we have to do a job. Obviously, we can't let them get to 82 points per game. We can't let them get their average, or else we're going to be in trouble. So we're going to have to defend as a team. Number two, we got to take care of the ball. They're a team that will capitalize more on turnovers, especially if they're live ball turnovers, and they will score on us. You know, we've had some games where we've had too many turnovers, but it didn't come back to hurt us because we played against teams that couldn't execute as well on our live ball turnovers. Obviously, New Mexico is a team that will execute on those live ball turnovers, and you have to watch out for Jalen House. He's really a pesky defender, and he gets after it defensively, and he tries to get a lot of steals. So we got to make sure that our guard play is strong. Number three, like we just said, we got to keep them off the free throw line. I've seen, I think, 4 out of their last 5 games, they've shot over 22 free throws from the free throw line. Only one game where they've shot under, about 12, 15 free throws. And so that tells you how aggressive they are getting to the rim, but it also tells you how many players they get in foul trouble. So we have to play defense solid, and we can't foul, obviously, on the drive. And like we said, we can't foul Mashburn when he gets in there, and House. Because if you put guys like that at the free throw line, they get free points. It can help guys that like to see the ball go in the hoop. It can help them get going in the game, and that can hurt us. So as long as we do those 3 things, I think we come away with the win tonight, though.
I'm going to let you hear what Coach Odom told me were the keys to the game to see if they match up with you.
Down, limit our turnovers, like I said. Take care of the ball, set our defense, all right? Get quality looks each and every time down. Limit our turnovers, like I said. Defensively, we've got to control the glass. We've got to make sure that the shots that they're taking are contested. And then we're in position, to be ready to block out.
And not foul is what he went on to say. So you're exactly right on, Jalen, with what the coach is thinking. So we'll talk to you then after the game. FS1 TV, if you're not going to the Spectrum, we hope you are. If you are, bundle up, because if you're looking for a warm place, once you get inside the Spectrum tonight, it's going to be a warm place, okay? So I think I can guarantee that for you. So we'll talk to you then after the game, Jalen, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
All righty. Always appreciate Jalen Moore joining with us. We need to pause for station identification.
Your voice for news and talk is right here on your radio. Breaking news and stimulating talk. KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you tonight by White Pine Funeral Services. Again, they create healing experiences for your family and your loved ones here in the Cache Valley area. Again, White Pine Funeral Services, your office technology partner, Les Olson Company, also bringing you our game day tonight. Next, we're headed towards a player feature with Taylor Funk. We're going to talk more about that. Coach Odom's going to talk a little bit about how, again, Funk even got here to Utah State.
Yeah, he just fits the way that we play, and he fits with his teammates, most importantly, because that's a huge thing. When you only have a year to play, can you match, can you fit in with the guys that you're choosing to play with and that they're choosing to have you come be a part of their team? He's certainly done that. His teammates love him. He loves his teammates. They'll have a bond for a long, long time.
So more from the coach, more from Taylor Funk, and more for you Aggie fans listening in before Utah State and New Mexico tonight. Your local station, complete pregame and postgame coverage of your Aggies. We tell you it's on FS1. It'll probably start around 8:40 to 8:45 because this Villanova and Marquette game still got about 15 minutes to go, so it's going to take a little bit to get done. We're on game day on KVNU before it gets started tonight. When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
Experience Sunday brunch at Prodigy Brewing on Center Street. Churro French toast, beignets and berries, and everyone's favorite chilaquiles. A delicious combination of eggs, house-made enchilada sauce, tortilla chips, avocado, and pico. Brunch has an all-new meaning of tasty when you visit Prodigy Brewing. Served Sundays 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Prodigy's atmosphere is vibrant, energetic, and friendly. Whether it's with family or friends, Sunday brunch at Prodigy Brewing is a delicious experience. Prodigy Brewing, exceptional food, extraordinary service, and family-friendly on Center Street in downtown Logan.
What's more important than sleep? Granted, some things are, but not many. This is Ryan at My Mattress, and here we offer the best solution to better sleep, a better mattress. IntelliBed, the gel mattress, cradles your hips and shoulders while providing the best back support possible. Or come in and choose a Tempur-Pedic that boasts 93% of their owners love their bed. My Mattress, offering the best sleep possible by the South Walmart.
It's cold outside, but you can keep warm inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Count on a furnace from York because it's backed by the strongest warranties available. It's just another way we install confidence. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com. York, install confidence.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Spend less time at the post office. With Formax and Mint mailing systems from Les Olson IT, you can quickly, accurately, and easily process your outgoing mail and even save on postage. Fold your documents, stuff and seal your envelopes, print addresses, weigh and measure to apply proper postage, all with the click of a button. With multiple model options available, you're sure to find a Formax solution and Mint mailing device that perfectly fits your business needs.
Les Olson IT.
KVNU Game Day returns.
I mean, yeah, I was obviously feeling good at the time was up, so I was like, might as well get one up. So, yeah.
Yeah, Dan Atkin again reacting on that last game when he did make that three-pointer towards the end of the game. So he actually is 1 for 2 in his all-time career as a college basketball player. 1-1 for the Aggies. As we said, he missed one for Cal Baptist last year. He is averaging 12.5 a game, 7.5 rebounds. He was about 10.8, but 8 rebounds a year ago for the team down there. But he leads the team in rebounding. He also leads in field goal percentage at 63.8%. He's to the foul line more than anybody. He does foul more than anybody, but he actually averages less than 3 per game, which is great. He's been 3 times our leading scorer, 9 times our leading rebounder the last 4 games in a row. And, of course, he had the 3 block shots, 2 of them 3-point shots against Fresno State. So, Coach, I asked him that question after the game last week. If you missed this on postgame game day, was that the best defensive game of the year as you go in against this great offensive team against New Mexico? Does that help?
We were pretty simple with the game plan. I thought our guys did a great job. We switched quite a bit, and then, obviously with Trevin in there, we weren't switching, and I thought our guys did a great job. They really did. They isolated us a couple of times on some post ups, and our guards did a really good job of fighting in there, and then we would have somebody else come in and switch out. I mean, there were some really good clips there, for us to really highlight, as we go forward in the season.
Again, Aggie basketball coach Ryan Odom there. Let me just change directions just for a minute because today is the official letter of intent signing day for college football. And Utah State's Blake Anderson was with us at noon today in a Zoom call. I know he talked to Aggie fans up at the stadium tonight as well. But here is the rundown that he gave us for all of you Aggie fans on the recruiting that they signed today and what they have for the entire signing period.
I feel like that we're in a really good place. We added 9 new signees today. In addition to that, 6 preferred walk-ons, 1 already on campus from here in the state of Utah, and 7 commitment letters to young men going on missions. So all in all, 20-plus players from the state of Utah, and then 9 signees that have not been announced in December signing class. So a couple of these guys are already here on campus, but happened after we had spoken during the process of the holidays, and so we'll kind of go through those today. But
42 total players were on the list today from Utah State football. as far as the recruits. 23 high school athletes, 16 were junior college transfers. So you got to figure those guys are all going to be guys that can step right in. A trio of 4-year transfers. So there's 3 of them. They've added the receiver from Stanford to that group. The state of Utah, as he said, with 20. 21 players were defensive players, 9 defensive backs, 8 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers. Of the 20 offensive players, 7 are wide receivers, 5 offensive linemen, 4 are running backs to go along with the 3 tight ends and 1 quarterback, and he added a kicker as well. And still, he said there could be somebody else out there as well in the signing class today. But, he went through and highlighted a few that were kind of interesting today to get a chance to hear about the receiver from Stanford, some other junior college guys, really the 2 defensive linemen that both come from College of San Mateo, very much needed with the transfers the Aggies had up front on the defensive front. But he said, again, the transfers, the portal transfers, they were expected, except for maybe, again, the offensive lineman, Waylon Lapuahu. They've added 1 offensive lineman. There's going to have to be some people really step up on that spot to help. At least 1 junior college lineman has come back to the state of Utah. He was actually in California, I think, playing, but he signed with the Aggies. So it was letter of intent day. You can go to UtahStateAggies.com and find out more about that. Let's get to our starting lineups tonight, brought to you by S.E. Needham Jewelers, the state's oldest jewelry store. And again, their gift department's great to go along with all of the diamond engagement ring sets for Valentine's Day coming up. Again, this is the way they've started almost every single game lately. As Rylan Jones will miss, his 7th consecutive game tonight, and it looks like probably the 8th at least with Colorado State on Saturday, with him not practicing yet. But Sean Bairstow, Stephen Ashworth, Max Shulga, and Taylor Funk, and Trevin Dorius. Isn't it interesting that every single game, Dan plays the 28 minutes. Trevin plays about 13 minutes. But every game, Coach Odom is kind of giving Trevin a pat on the back. He did again against Fresno State the other day with his limited time.
Yeah, Trevin, was a little bit discouraged after that 2-minute stretch when he got his 3rd foul at the beginning of the second half. And he's walking off. And I said, hey, dude, you just helped us, get a bigger lead, all right, with the way that you play. Don't let that 1 foul, worry you. But
so he'll still be out there at the start. Again, New Mexico's got a big guy they bring off the bench, plus their starter, 6'9", 6'10", really a big inside threat in Udeze for them. So it'll be time that he has to play and play well. And then, of course, as we mentioned, the starting lineup does include Taylor Funk, who we've got coming up on our game day with our Aggie interview. And I thought this was interesting. The coach gave us some background about how long he's really known about Taylor Funk before he finally gets him here to play basketball for his team this year.
I watched a ton of his games and his teammates' games in AAU over the course of the summer, 2 summers before he graduated from high school, and fell in love with him and some of his teammates. Taylor was an excellent player. You could tell at that particular time that he was going to have the opportunity to play at a high level. And he chose kind of what was the hometown school and where a lot of guys probably in that area dreamed of going to. Coach Martelli was still there at the time, and ironically, we scrimmaged them both years. His two years that Coach Martelli was still there, once at UMBC and then once at St. Joe's, and so we got to see him in a live game as well. And then, you just kind of follow his career as time goes. As luck would have it, we ended up out here and still had a connection with, some of his people there. And, it's been just a wonderful match, not only for us, but I think it's been a wonderful match for him too.
Remember how Taylor Funk told us a story? He said he didn't really get recruited and accepted the St. Joe's offer real early in high school. And he should have taken advantage of going on recruiting stuff. So he said when he went in the portal, I'm going to check all this out. Came to Utah State, and he said within about 2 or 3 hours talking to players and coaches, I'm signing, Coach. He went away from even what he thought he was going to do. So we're going to have him coming up in our game day interview in the next segment. Boy, is he excited to be here.
It's just a blast. I've had a blast my entire career, and what a way to go out for me.
So we'll have that in our next segment of Game Day, Utah State and New Mexico tonight. Again, it will be the only Mountain West game tonight. Again, last night, Nevada beat San Diego State to even it up at the top between the Aztecs and the Boise State Broncos, and they play each other on Friday night. And I think also on Friday night, as I remember, I think Nevada and New Mexico play again on Friday night, too. So interesting stuff tonight. Aggies need this one. It's Game Day continuing in just a moment.
Hi, this is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. At White Pine, we value compassion, integrity, and service. We are committed to serving you and treating your family as our family. We will be here when you need us most, to listen, to help, and to provide exactly what your circumstances require. At White Pine, we promise to dedicate our time and attention to you and your family. We invite you to come by and meet us. We're confident you'll feel a difference.
Has inflation got you down? This is Zach with HSA Depot. Did you know you can save money by using your pre-tax income to buy qualifying medical supplies? Health savings and flex spending accounts can be used for more than just doctor visits and prescriptions. HSA Depot helps you conquer your health care by providing HSA and FSA eligible products, taking the guesswork out of the process. Come to HSA Depot next to Sally Beauty and see how much you can save. HSA Depot, 5-star review.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
Alpine Home Medical has been around for over 25 years. Can you believe that? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent. What keeps us coming to work every day? We're passionate about caring for you. From home and bathroom safety to transportation, mobility, recovery, oxygen, sleep, and more, come into any of our 10 locations today and let us take care of you.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit us at alpinehomemedical.com.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning on News Talk KVNU.
If he misses a shot, he truly believes the next one's going in. And he is not going to shy away from any of it.
Richard Pitino, the head coach of the New Mexico Lobos. Again, Coach Pitino in his second year there, he's won 32 and lost 22. He's 191 and 159 overall in his 11th year of coaching. He had 1 year at a smaller school, as I recall. What was it, Florida Atlantic or someplace like that, as I recall off the top of my head. And then it was Minnesota for a while, and now at New Mexico. Ryan Odom in his second year, actually 35 and 21, a little better record. 161 and 102 in his ninth year. He's 2-0 against the Lobos with the wins last year. But he's talking, of course, about this Jamal Mashburn Jr. Again, he and Jalen House both have dads who played in the NBA, very famous dads. In fact, this is Jamal Mashburn Jr. Remember, his dad was a Kentucky player who played 12 years in the NBA. What did he average? About 19 points a game. Now, he's 6'8", and Junior's only 6'2", but, boy, he can score lately. 6 straight games, as we mentioned, with 20 points. He's shooting 45% overall, 41% again on 31 three-pointers. He's 80% for the foul line. You don't want to foul this team at all. Lots of factors come into play there, as Jalen gave us on our keys to the game. Young Truck and Trailer Center. They have the competitive pricing on the flatbed work trucks and the trailers available, the best in Cache Valley. Best selection, best pricing. Every make and model on the lot is great for you on Highway 89. Young Truck and Trailer Center brings you that Aggie interview. Well, it's good to welcome back to Game Day Taylor Funk. What do you think of the Mountain West Conference so far, halfway through it?
Yeah, it's impressive, very impressive. It's a hard conference for sure. There's no off nights. We say that every day. Like every game we're going into, there's 0 off nights. Anyone can beat anyone on any given night, which makes it really, really fun. It's a competitive league. It's just a joy to play in. Going even away games. The amount of people that show up to each and every game, home or away, it's just such a fun college environment to play in.
So is it a lot different than the Atlantic 10 was?
I would say so, for sure. I think it's more competitive, I would say. Games mean a little more. And then just going back to the support and the fan base, it's just, you didn't really get that in the A10 as much as you do here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're halfway through, 6-3. Tied for third place. There's kind of 5 teams that are at the top of this league. you now get an opportunity to play one of those teams in New Mexico this week that is one of those groups. They only play once, and you really need to beat one of those other teams at the top to kind of say, hey, we're among this group.
Yeah, absolutely. Every game's a big game, that Fresno State was a huge game. It's just games that you have to win, and this is the next game on our schedule, which makes it the most important game of the year so far. So, we go into every single game, prepared to win, ready to win, and that's all we want. It doesn't really matter who we're playing, but I do understand this is one of the teams that you got to beat if you want to be the best team in the conference. So yeah, we had the top teams in the league so far. We played all on the road, so we get the opportunity to bring one of those teams into the Spectrum, and yeah, it's just us. It's our time now, and go out and do what we always plan to do.
Is it a big deal in your mind, home court and road games in basketball?
For sure. I mean, I'd be lying if I would say no. Home court advantage is a thing for sure. You feel the crowd. You feel the away team, opposing team's crowd. It shouldn't change the way we play or the way we're out there. We shouldn't play timid ever. We should always just do what we do. But for sure, I mean, the noise, the fans, it's a real thing in college basketball, and that's why college basketball is what it is. It's just a joy to play, honestly, and it's my last year of it, and just enjoying every single moment that I'm giving, and it's just a blast. I've had a blast my entire career, and what a way to go out for me. Yeah, and I'm just looking forward to every other game.
You told me you wanted this kind of atmosphere to play in, and I think it's delivered a little bit, hasn't it?
Delivered, that's an understatement. I knew it was going to be loud and rowdy, but I could have never imagined it being this loud and rowdy. There's moments I'm out there and, timeout happens, media timeout comes after someone hit a big shot, and you literally can just you get goosebumps just kind of admiring what is surrounding you. You can't hear anything at moment. Times coaches trying to call plays, or our guards are trying to set us in something, and endless times we're just like what? Yeah, it's a joy. It is a joy.
That is really neat. So I can tell that you've enjoyed being with these guys. I think they've enjoyed being with you so far. You talked about your parents coming here. Has this been a good experience for them then?
Amazing experience, yeah. Talked to my mom the other day actually, and she's like, "I'm going to be so sad when I'm done here." I made so many good friends, and it's just the Utah culture, I guess you can call it. It's just such a blessing to be around people, and I feel like every new person you meet is the new nicest person you ever met. It's just a joy to meet new people, because everyone is very nice out here, and I feel like it makes you a nicer person.
Well, I think that's really neat, and all the people need to take that as a compliment. I was noticing, again, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. You're not far from Philadelphia. You played in Philadelphia in college. Are you an Eagles football fan for the Super Bowl?
I guess I can release my my NFL team now that I don't live in Philly. I'm actually a Cowboys fan, so the Eagles making it is just the worst nightmare of my life.
That's the big rival, isn't it?
Big rival. I had to live there, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and it was just brutal. So I'm glad I'm not in Philly for this one.
So you're cheering for Kansas City?
Yeah, all the way. Mahomes, come on, bring us home.
He's a Texas guy and all. Taylor, we enjoy what you've done so far for this team, and I know you do give us a lot, and the guys on this team have really appreciated what you've done and moved in. And now this is an interesting run, this second half of the season for you guys in this league. I know you always take one at a time. New Mexico's a big game, and all with really good players. But again, there's a lot of interesting games to come.
No, a ton of interesting games, and this is where we want to be. It's exactly where we want to be. I mean, obviously we'd turn some of those L's into W's, but you can't change the past. It's guns blazing now. Take every opportunity we have, and we say it every day before the game. Don't waste this opportunity, because you never know when they're over. And for me personally, and some of the other seniors, and I mean for the whole team, this year is running down, so it makes everything even that much more important. But you're right, we got some more games, and just take every game by game, and let's continue this journey because it's been a fun one.
Okay, keep going. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
He actually is our leading scorer in Mountain West games. Taylor Funk is averaging 14.4, a little more than Stephen Ashworth. Overall, Ashworth still the season leader. He's graduate transfer, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. 45% shooting in three-point shots from the Mountain West games from three is actually better than Ashworth at about 40% up until now. So, again, that's our Aggie interview. We've got our coaches segment coming up, and we, of course, are going to take you as close as we can to the start of the game. It'll probably be, about 8:40 when they will start the game, it sounds like, from the Spectrum. And they may have to start even on FS2, depending on how close this Villanova and Marquette goes. Villanova leads with 7 minutes to play, 59-55, in the part of the triple header where the late game, and so you get backed up. But it may start on FS1. I don't think they'll start it much longer after about 8:40 up in the Spectrum tonight. And hopefully it's a big crowd for this game. Aggies in New Mexico, again, a real key in this game.
We're not going to shut these guys out. They're good. They're averaging 18 a game for a reason, right? And they're doing it on specific things. We just got to force them into some hard shots. All right, and then we've got to be able to clean up the glass.
And not foul them, and that was the coach again on not fouling them and trying to stay away from putting them on the foul line as we continue. It's a big deal for the Lobos team, as we've talked about. Game day continues on KVNU.
It's never too late or too cold to get rid of that old vehicle. Now is the time to earn extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is locally owned and operated inside the beautiful new Three Peaks Medical Plaza in North Logan. Expect the most cutting-edge techniques, qualified doctors, and friendly staff to ensure the highest quality patient care. The ENT providers have extensive training to properly treat ear, nose, and throat conditions for adults and children. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat serves all of northern Utah and southern Idaho, accepting most insurance products including SelectMed. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, located in North Logan and Providence.
As a small business, achieving your financial goals and ambitions can be a steep and rocky mountain climb. This is Lance Zollinger, president at Cache Valley Bank. To conquer the mountain and achieve your goals, it takes planning, hard work, and discipline. At Cache Valley Bank, we have the resources, expertise, and flexibility to help you scale your way to success. Give us a call. Let's work together and climb the mountains that await. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
What do Valentine's Day and Jarek's have in common? They're both all about the romance. Jarek's Fine Jewelry has a great selection for your sweetheart. Don't sweat it out worrying about where to get the perfect gift. We recently added a 3D laser engraver. Now through Valentine's, Jarek's will personalize any jewelry purchase for no additional charge. We can engrave a wedding date, a name, or any message on most jewelry, like a pendant, watch, bracelet, the inside or outside of a ring. This Valentine's, let us help personalize your gift and make it special. Make it Jarek's.
The clock is ticking, and Aggie basketball is getting closer. It's KVNU Game Day.
I can't say enough about our crowd and impact that, our fans have on the game. It's a huge, huge impact. It really is. It's so loud in there. It's hard to think at times, and certainly I'm sure it is for the opponent.
Kim, we had like 8,900 for the San Jose State game when the Aggies were at home last, and that's what the coach was talking about. Hopefully we'll have even more than that tonight, maybe sell every single ticket for this game. I know the students will be out. They love these late-night TV games, but hopefully on a weeknight, like I said, if you're looking for a warm spot, get inside the Spectrum. It'll be warm in there. The average is about 7,100 this year, but they really have had great support, and you can tell Taylor Funk loves it. Coach Odom loves it. And again, it can get even better and better, and let's hope it'll be a heck of a game for the fans to cheer on tonight, because this New Mexico Lobo team that the Aggies play tonight, they've been 10 weeks now getting votes in the top 25 polls after they got off to their 15-0 start. They were the longest winningest team in college basketball until they lost to Fresno State in kind of a surprise. And then they lost to UNLV right after that in a home game. But now they have won 5 of their last 6. Again, and including wins against San Diego State and Boise State during that period of time. So, again, it does start with Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Jalen House, right, Coach? But
they feed off of one another. They take up for one another. And then the two additions inside have really helped their team. Udeze has really helped them in the post. He's helped them defensively. He's helped them offensively around the rim. It gives them a go-to guy there, and the physicality defense is really good, and they're really tough to stop in transition. So we know what we're up against, and we're going to play well, to win.
Our coaches segment brought to you by Thermo Fisher Scientific. Join their team today. They are hiring. Again, you visit job.thermofisher.com and search Logan. Thermo Fisher, equal opportunity employer, making the world healthier, cleaner, and safer on our game day. Again, the coach on the other side, Richard Pitino, as we told you about, that is Rick Pitino's son. And he has, again, Mashburn. And, again, look at the run that he's been on lately in games. 8 of the last 9 games he's had over 20. 20, 22, then had 19. And then 24, 22, 20, 25, 33 in that loss to Nevada, and then 24 in the game against Air Force. And again, he had 1 year, remember, with Pitino at Minnesota, so he knows this kind of player.
Mash is locked in offensively in any gym he walks into. That is his mentality. He is very proud because of how hard he works. Not arrogant, but extremely confident. And, there's so much false bravado on social media and all this talk. Mash works hard, therefore he's confident. And if he misses a shot, he truly believes the next one's going in. And he is not going to shy away from any of it. So, no, I don't think there's been one thing. He works his butt off. I've had to try to tell him not to work hard at times, to rest his legs, but he's always going to bring it. So I don't think there's been a whole lot of a difference.
And we mentioned his dad is Jamal Bashburn, who played at Kentucky, went to the NBA 12 years. He's got the work ethic of his dad. He doesn't have his size, but, boy, he's got his ability to score the basketball. He is a real challenge, of course. But also what's interesting, too, is that Coach Odom realizes he beat them twice last year. Mashburn was there. House was there last year. But they have added some interesting new pieces because Mashburn's not the whole deal.
He's just really good at that shot. And then the other guys, too. Like House gets to the basket, and does a great job of finishing for himself and makes really big shots, but also is really improved in a lot of areas of his decision-making around the basket where he finds those big guys for easy ones. And so you've really got to be mindful of that, and we do, as the game goes on.
House is the second leading scorer in the conference to his teammate. In fact, 7 times he and Mashburn have had 20 points in the same game. Mashburn did have 29 against the Aggies in that game in the pit last year. But what's interesting about House, he's the second leading scorer, but he's also the number 2 assist guy. And he's number 3 in all of college basketball, getting almost 3 steals a game on average. That defense that he is out there with really can make a difference, and the Aggies have got to watch it because, like Jalen says, turnovers for touchdowns is not what you want.
He's got the freedom, right, from the coaching staff to, go for it and kind of be who he is. Naturally, he's got the anticipation. He's really dangerous, whether he's on the ball, guarding you. Once you have the ball down, he'll just take it right from you. Or, kind of like the Muggsy Bogues type deal, where it's just you're dribbling and all of a sudden it's gone. It's going the other direction. Or he's really dangerous as well off the ball, where you're driving, he comes in and steals it. You're not his man. Or he fakes it, and all of a sudden you're trying to pass it out, and he goes and steals the ball on a pass. He's just really good at anticipating, what's going to happen out there, and he has the freedom to go for it and go make some of those plays.
Last year it was 90-87, the overtime game down there. Remember what happened towards late in regulation time? Rylan Jones had one of those times when he got a real shot against him, couldn't continue, and they could pick somebody off the bench. Trevin Dorius came in and made the 2 free throws, got the game to overtime, and then the Aggies won it in the overtime. Jenkins, I think, was the guy who tied the game late when it looked like the Aggies still should have won in regulation. But R.J. Idlerock had 18 in that game last year. Bairstow had 12. Rylan had 10. Ashworth had 12. Dorius had 4. Shulga and Z. Hamoda played. Mashburn, 29. Javante Johnson, who's still with him and can shoot threes once in a while, hasn't had many big games. His career high still 23 against the Aggies last year. And then 8 for House, 6 for Jenkins of the guys back. Bean and Horvath played well in both games for the Aggies, so that's got to be Akin and and Funk in this series. And then the game in Logan wasn't even close, 81-56. The Aggies won last year. Bairstow had 12, Ashworth 10, RJ had 5, Z had 3, Shulga had 2, Zapala had 2, Dorius had 2, Jones didn't score, didn't play a lot in that game. Mashburn had 13, Jenkins had 12. He's the three-point threat, besides, again, in Mashburn and House and all that can come off the bench. So, again, the deal is the Aggies won last year, but the coach knows it's a whole new Mexico team, the way they're playing, and so much improved.
I think I said the two bigs like that. Those two guys have been, big reason for their success. I mean, obviously they have returning guards. Dent has really added. He's a really good player, a great freshman in our league. That will be ready when those guys are gone and is ready now to make big plays. He has the ball at key times in conference games. But Alec is, he's a physical player. He's an enforcer by the rim. He knows his role, and he rebounds. He's relentless on the glass, and so he's a tough matchup.
And Udeze is the other guy that we mentioned inside, who is he's about sixth leading scorer in the conference. So they call their front court Mojo when they have Alec as the number 2 Mountain West rebounder, number 1 offensive board guy, and then the number 1 rebounder Udeze, and also the number 6 scorer for the team. Ken Palm has New Mexico at number 45, the Aggies number 48. The NCAA net rankings have New Mexico 30, the Aggies 38 into the game. Aggies supposed to be a 4-point favorite. They're saying like over and under about 156, so that would be an 80-76 game. Again, that seems to be right along the lines of things. I thought it was interesting. There's only New Mexico and San Diego State who have every game either on television on CBS National or CBS Sports Network or FS1 this year. Only those two teams. And then they had the week where it was mic'd up. They did an all-access week. Coach Patino down in New Mexico had to be mic'd up in the game against San Jose State. And I thought it was interesting what he said about that experience. I think you'll enjoy this.
I hated it, but I didn't have to. I'm not a huge swearer by any means. I mean, I'll do it every now and then. But so it was a bit of a basket case last night. And then when the game happened, I felt good. So I was really what I was worried about was I didn't want to add any extra elements that were going to make something difficult for our guys, especially with the season that we're having. When Steve Shear, who's a good friend, came up to me, it was in July, and I didn't know where we'd be sitting, but I just thought, and with everything, honestly, when people ask me whether it's to speak locally or do a clinic, I appreciate that. I don't take that for granted. Somebody wants me to do something. They feel maybe I'd be good at it. That is a privilege that I don't take lightly. So I did not enjoy it, but it brought some, spotlight to our program. I didn't change the way that I coached at all because, I rewatched some of them, and you could tell some coaches that did, some that didn't. And I wasn't going to do that, so overall, hopefully brought some great exposure to our program, and I'm very happy it's over.
Boy, and they got the magic back in the pit this year. They got the crowd back, breathing loud and strong. We won't play there this year the way the conference schedule goes. We get them one time. It's in Logan tonight. It's on FS1 again. They're not mic'd up tonight, but the coaches, Odom and Patino, and their teams go at it head-to-head. They have mentioned it's Mashburn, House, Johnson, Udeze, and Alec, and it is Trevin, Dorius, Funk, Shulga, Ashworth, and Bairstow that start for the Aggies in this game tonight. Here's an interesting Cache Valley Bank stat for you. New Mexico, after their 20th win tonight, second quickest in their history, they are 16-0 this year when they're unranked, and they are unranked right now. 3 times they've got into the rankings, they've gone 3-3. Did you notice San Diego State went back in the rankings and lost? They were in there before. New Mexico beat them. Now they lose to Nevada last night. This conference can't keep people in the top 25, but they keep these teams all in the top 40. And again, the Aggies need a win against one of these teams to really cement themselves towards an at-large bid, if not feeling like they can win this conference title. So that's what's coming up. They said it's going to start on FS1, and maybe it'll go to FS2. It's going to start at 8:45 is what FS1 is saying. So I bet it'll start on FS2 because I don't know if this Villanova and Marquette game will be over. If you're going with TV, find that, and then they'll switch back to FS1. We'll be here immediately after the game is over to talk about it, to take your calls, take your texts. Jalen Moore, John Russell with me. Thank you for joining with me pregame to set up Utah State and New Mexico in this really good matchup tonight of Mountain West basketball on a Wednesday night. Hopefully it goes great for the Aggies, and we'll talk about it right after the game is over. We'll rejoin the Rich Valdez Show in progress here on KVNU in just a moment.